Hello again, everyone. It's me for the life path number 33. So this is the last in the series of the life paths. But as usual, if you're not sure what your core numbers are, your life path, your talent number, or people call it expression number or key number, your birthday number, and all the other core numbers in your chart, I'm going to put a video that shows you how to work out your core numbers in the description box, and I will be putting links to my accounts on other social media sites like Facebook, Instagram and things like that, so you can follow me if you choose. Right, so before I get started, this is going to be the last in the Life Path series, so I'm thinking now, my idea was I've told you all about what the life paths are and what you're here to do. So my next series of videos is going to be guidance on what actually to do. I mean, it's all very well knowing all these things, but if you're not sure what steps to take, it can be a difficult thing. So I'm going to be over the next few weeks making videos for you to help guide each and every life path, not only with how to develop themselves on their path, their career, their family life, and even their compatibilities to other numbers. So things like, who does the one get on with the most? Who does the one work best with? That is my plan for my next series of videos. If you guys have any other ideas or any other things on numerology that haven't been on YouTube before and you're thinking, I'd really like a video on that, whack a description in the bottom of this video, or you can contact me by email on any of the contacts that I give you at the end of this video. But yeah, like this video, comment, let me know your thoughts, and let me know if my plan for my next series of videos sounds good to you or not, because, you know, it's you guys that matter. Right, let's get straight on. Okay, so as a life path number 33, you are a master life path. So your life path is 33/6. So technically you're a life path 6, but a higher vibration of that life path 6. You're not just a life path 6. You're a life path 6 of a higher vibration. An average life path 6, not that you're average if you're life path 6, don't get me wrong, we're all amazing people and we're all equal. You're here to look after the community and the people close to you. But when you're a life path 33/6, you're still about looking after those close, but you're thinking more global. The master life path 33/6 has a lot to achieve, and it's not just local, it's global, and it's not an easy path. If you're a life path 33/6 and you're struggling, don't beat yourself up. In fact, you should never beat yourself up, but the life path 33/6 is hard. Just like the life path 11 or the 22, it's not an easy road. You're an old soul and you're here to accomplish something amazing. Some people don't even get into their life path 33 until they're in their 50s, sometimes 60s. So especially if you're a young 33/6, give yourself a break, pace yourself, because you're going to need some more tips on how to handle that energy that's pounding towards you on a daily basis. Okay, so as a life path 33, you're doing your PhD, your master's degree, or your PhD if you prefer, in the number 3. So you're here to master double the need for self-expression, double the need for emotional sensitivity, and to express yourself like a rock star. There are downsides to this, of course. When you're emotionally sensitive, you can be quite, well, I'll tell you a little bit more of that further down the line. But in the 6, you're also here to realize that your idealistic vision, whereas you must keep that idealistic vision, no one should lose their ideals, but you also accept that reality does not always allow, and to accept that, you know, and whatever your ideal is, the world is already perfect just the way it is. And the 6 at the higher vibrational level needs to realize that the world is, with all its issues, it's meant to be that way. Okay. If we all lived in an ideal utopian world, that would be amazing. But what's ideal for me is not necessarily ideal for someone else. You could never please anyone. That's the paradox here. What is the ideal? And that's what you're here to realize. Life is a lesson. It's a school. It's not really a party. I don't think it's meant to always be utopia. You're meant to experience difficulties in life, and you're meant to overcome them, because it's not what happens to you. It's how you deal with it. Anyway, I'm going to stop going on. I do go on, don't I? Right, so what you're here to do is the Master Life Path 33-6. You need to make your mark as a compassionate healer. You're a compelling visionary, and you're just joyful, you're inspired, and you're a creative communicator. When I picture the Life Path 33-6, I see this compassionate, amazing performer that is there to enlighten everyone's soul. Like a compassionate rock star. Sounds weird, doesn't it? But that's how I picture it. You're full of creative expression. You're an incredible communicator, or that's what you're here to develop. Okay, Life 33, double 3, expressive communication. Okay, that's what you're here to do to achieve that higher vibrational level 6. But, you know, as in with all master numbers, it's that 33 we must be focusing on. That's the master number. Emotional sensitivity, performance and joy. This is an amazing life path for a musician or an entertainer, because there's nothing more obvious than an entertainer that has no emotional connection with what they're performing or what they're singing. The Life Path 33 and the 3 as well are here to develop that ability to connect with their audience with emotion, to make that audience feel what they're feeling. Almost like getting the audience, controlling the audience's emotions, but for good, to edify people, to inspire and to instruct, and to entertain, most definitely. In the 6, your home and family means a hell of a lot to you, and you want to secure your home and family. This can cause a bit of a clash sometimes, because the 33 and the 3 especially can be quite self-absorbed and into their own passions and into their own self-expression, and can often, you know, disconnect from the family and focus on themselves and their own creative expression quite a lot. So when you're here to develop the higher vibrational 6, the 6 is about caring for others. So in the 33-6, you have that added responsibility to balance your need to express yourself creatively and get yourself out there, to entertain, to inspire, to put the message forward. Think of it like this. The 11 creates the message in here. The 22 practically plans and applies that message. And the 3 explodes that information into the world. Okay, and that is what the 33 wants. But the 6 is a little bit more nurturing and a little bit more community based. And you need, as a 33-6, to be able to balance those two in your own way, in your own individual way. Because you do have a responsibility for higher service, and you are very much the visionary. Maybe a bit idealistic, but as a developed 6, you should be realizing that, you know, you have to be a pragmatic idealist, meaning you have those ideals there and you will always strive for them, but when they don't always come, you accept that, because that's what reality is all about. And, you know, you also think that, you know, if my ideal existed and everything was tickety-boo, what would there be left to learn or do in the world? Think on. So coming to terms with that need for perfectionism and to control everything, because you want everything to be perfect. And boy, can the 6 vibration sometimes get a bit uppity because of that control. Use your talent for inspired creativity to help and heal others. Yeah, the 33, and I've heard the 11 being spoken of similarly. They say it's like the Christ consciousness. It's very saintly. So you could be a guru or spiritual leader. But definitely think on and be careful about that. Make sure that if you do lead others in a spiritual way, that you are taking your information from spirit and from your intuition, not from your mind and your ideals. That's a really important point. As a Life 33-6, you have a huge responsibility because people will follow you. And if you follow others with your own opinions and ideals that come from your analytical mind, you're going to stumble and you're going to make everyone following you stumble too. So remember, if you're going to have others follow you or you're going to be a speaker, you must channel that information from spirit. And then you'll know that you're always following the right path. Anyway. So you require a delicate balance between your innate responsibility and joyfully using your emotions and your sensitive and your imaginative gifts to be of service to others. Maybe you can mix the two, maybe you can balance the two. That's down to your individual way of doing it. So you're both service orientated and you're extremely creative. You've come with a higher spiritual purpose. How could you do both of them, I wonder? A creative paradox for you. Okay, so what do you bring? If you're a high vibrational 33-6 and you're slamming down your path and you're just amazing and you're just shiny, you seek wisdom and experience to show us something, to teach us something, to develop humanity through developing yourself and others and theirs and your link to the spirit world. Because you're an old soul, 33-6. That's why you're a 33-6. You have loads of cellular memory, loads of inner knowing and perceptiveness. It's really important that you keep that connection to spirit, guys. Listen to your intuition, listen to your heart. It's vitally important for all the life path numbers, but for you, the 11 and the 22, it's like everything, okay? So you may have had all the life path, the master life paths have a difficult time, not just because the intensity of the energy, but others do instinctively from their intuition, whether they know it consciously or not, expect more from you. And then you, of course, expect a lot from yourself because you've probably experienced a certain situation before and you think, God, I should have done better there. What am I like? You know? So, you know, the veil between a master life path and the spirit world, like the 1122 or the 33, is that the veil between you and the spirit world is thinner. So you're a channel from higher realms and a spiritual catalyst. And it's important that you take what you share with the world from spirit, as I've already said, because it's so important. I keep repeating it. You have gifts of heightened psychic sensitivity, if you're higher vibrational, especially intuition. I mean, you all have it, even if you're struggling as a 33-6, but you might be struggling to access that information, but it's always there within you. But if you're higher vibrational, you are developing, you are accessing your psychic sensitivity, your intuition, your perception, and your connection to spirit. You're spiritually sensitive, you're empathic, the channel, you're a channel from higher realms using your intuition and psychic abilities. You can help and heal others, not just on a local scale, but on a grand scale. Okay, think on 33-6. You're not just meant to sort your community out. You're meant to get out there and change the world. Let's get started. You're supremely creative. You're a masterful creator, a communicator. And if you're struggling with that, you very well have the potential. It's just about unlocking that within yourself. Performing selfless service with joy, with a heightened level of emotional self-expression. Brilliant creative expression. You're like a rock star, the preacher, the teacher, the guru. Your intentions and your actions are powerful. And what you do causes ripples that probably never stop. You have lots to achieve in this world. That's why it's difficult. You're a healer, you're a therapist, you're an entertainer, and you're quite interested in the realms of the psychic and the spiritual, charismatic and extremely philanthropic. Right. So you're a self-expressive visionary of the ideal. And you're here to bring that positive, heartfelt self-expression and to use the emotions within you for positivity in order to acquire an audience, to express an important message. Now, that message could come from you, or it could be a message that comes from a Life Path Master 11, because they're often the ones that bring up the initial idea. Okay, so it could come from you, it could come from an 11, because you're both linked to spirit. But you express that message. You're not always necessarily the initiator of that idea in here, but you are the expresser. You're the implementer. Okay, you're the one that brings that idea to the world to express an important message that will change the world, not just your home, not just your community, the world. You're here to overcome issues relating to emotional sensitivity. The 3 absorbs other people's emotions. The 33 is like a huge emotional sponge, and they absorb the emotions of everyone in the room. So if you're miserable, they end up feeling miserable. They can be extremely shy and introverted and low, or they can be explosively emotional. It's all round emotional control, either not expressing your emotions at all or being explosive to the point of abusive. Okay, so there's always a continuum. You're here to use carefully chosen words from the heart with the power to move people to tears or laughter in a positive way. The Life Path 3 and the 33 have a way, if they're low vibrational, of using their words to really hurt people. And move them to tears, but not necessarily in a positive way. So that's something that the 3 and the 33 do need to keep in their mind as something they need to work on. Powerful expressive drive to uplift, instruct and inspire if you're high vibrational. Verbal enthusiasm, constructive, creative speech, confidence to express to an audience, very much the orator, negotiator, persuader, with a passion for helping others to awaken their own feelings and sensitivity and tune in and connect. You want to tune in and connect with your audience to help them feel your same emotions as you. You love speaking, you're good with writing, teaching, all forms of the creative arts. I mean, you could decide as a 33 you want to express yourself through music or drama, or you have a message that you really want the world. You could just be a speaker, a personal development speaker, somebody who wants to change the world, or you could be the amazing artist, and a creator of all artistic visual arts, audio arts. I mean, the options are endless depending on who you are. Most 3s I know, and some 33s do love physical creativity as well, like extreme sports or dancing or exploring or like free running and things like that. They're very much into architecture, a builder and a manager of people. You're very social, highly interactive and sure of yourself, charming and witty if you're high vibrational. But you can imagine you can be the other side of that coin if you're low. You could be antisocial, really not interactive at all, low confidence, and just hide yourself away. But that could be indicative of the 3. But as the 33/6, it's important that you're working through that, because you're not just here to achieve the 3. Remember, it's the double 3. Okay, you're a natural entertainer, you're optimistic, talkative comedian, as I've said. As I've said, you may not come to your full power of your 33/6 until later in life, sometimes into your 50s and beyond, as it takes a while to get the experience under your belt to help you find your passionate focus. It's an intense life path, and it will take years to understand and act that out in a constructive way. So remember to keep giving yourself a break and pace yourself. You know, you're dealing with enough energy without getting yourself all worked up over not achieving your path. Okay. Which way have I gone here? Okay. So in the 6, this is a little bit more the 6. This is what you're here to achieve in a higher vibration. So you're here to deal with your ideals and deal with practical reality, to accept yourself, the world and the present moment with the knowledge that the world's already perfect as it is. Overcome your perfectionist tendencies by remembering the big picture and the real priorities. Remember that rather than the petty detail. I've seen some 6s before ruin an evening because, you know, they're annoyed that the detail's been destroyed when their whole reason for the evening was to bring people together to have fun and be positive. They focus so much on the detail that they've got themselves worked up, and that whole big picture's come crashing down. So you've got to keep in mind the big picture and don't let the detail destroy your big picture. You are a visionary of the ideal, and you must keep that vision. Nobody should lose that vision of the ideal. You're calling on us to do our best. You have ideals of justice, form, relationships, anything, things you're interested in. You have ideals in that. You're a visionary of it with a utopian world vision, keeping that flame of idealism alive. You inspire others with your ideals and give them hope and direction. You need to find the heart and patience to share that higher vision, though, and realize that acceptance is that bridge to a joyful life. Embracing everyone as they are, because the problem with having ideals and perfections is, you know, there are people that won't meet that ideal, and you'll end up judging yourself and others because you're not always going to meet your own ideal. And if you end up judging everyone and disappointed, you're not happy, you're not joyful, you're disappointed, and you're judging everyone. So it's acceptance of not everyone's going to meet your ideals. You know, you're going to be much more joyful and happy and embrace everyone as they are. If you embrace everyone as they are, excuse me everyone, my beautiful little boy cat has come in, and because I've shut the door, he's meowing to be let out. 1 second. Hello, darling. Okay, let me go out. Go on then. Go on then. See you in a minute. Sorry about that, people. Little man, the cat flaps in here, so if I shut the door to do a video, he comes in and then demands exit. Anyway, where was I? So you're here to apply more patience, not to be so judgmental and, oh, it's not going right. Calm yourself. Have a bit more realism, be a bit more flexible. Sometimes you need to change plans. It's fine. Don't stress yourself. But be inspired by your ideals and what could be, but no longer using them as a benchmark. Well, sorry, I'll say that a little bit better. You're inspired, what am I like? Inspired by your ideas, but you no longer cling to them as a benchmark for your disappointment and judgment. That's better, Katie. Overcome self-judgments and judgments about others. When you start accepting that things aren't always going to be perfect, these things fall away. Gain a healthy balance between giving and receiving. Sometimes you nurturing 6s can give a bit too much. Sometimes you need to receive back or step back and take a rest. Accept that life is unfolding just as it should, and problems that actually occur are opportunities in disguise, not only to start something new, but for development. You're very family-orientated, home bird, responsible, sensible, the parent really, the nurturing, loving and warm, passionate, emotional. You build close, sincere relationships. You're a loyal friend. You hate conflict. You always want to mediate and help others. Let's not forget the 6 has amazing musical ability, whether it be singing, performing an instrument, or writing music. You have an amazing ability there, especially a 33-6. And if you're that way inclined, that is something to really bring forward as part of your life path, most definitely. You're definitely a cause fighter because you're here to change the world. You love beauty, you love artistry, home furnishings, you just like things to look pretty, really. Okay, but in the negative, of course, every life path has difficulties. Okay, so in here I've got in the black, I've got sort of more about the 3, and what I've highlighted here as maroon is more to do with the 6. Okay, so in the double 3, so you're going to have double the strength here. These black ones, there's going to be double the issues for you to get past. Okay, so you may be, if you're not expressing yourself authentically, you could be a bit of a manipulator. So instead of stating what you want, you should go around the houses and manipulate things your way rather than being honest and straight with people. You can express yourself to hurt and destroy. You can be extremely cutting and have the potential in a low vibrational to be emotionally abusive. You whine a lot, you can complain a lot, insult and criticize people, and just be really downright miserable when you're in a low vibration. Or you could be really shy. You don't have to be like horrible about others. You might just be shy, not wanting to come out into the world, fear of public speaking or expressing yourself, refusing to speak to others. I saw that a lot in school, some very little sensitive souls that struggled to communicate with others, so they didn't. Some people, the 3 especially, have speech impediments, more to do with the 3, but can be quite a heavy issue with the 33 as well. Chronic, as I've just said, you can be chronically shy and lack the courage to speak and need to start asserting yourself and express your anger constructively. So be assertive, be confident, be joyful to others, but don't kick off and hurt others, because your anger can be catastrophic if you don't control it. The 33 and the 3, they're here to express themselves verbally primarily, which means you end up with difficulties with language, struggling with language, either speaking, maybe you have a stutter, maybe you struggle to find the right words to say in situations, or you might always be in situations where there's language barriers, or as I said, you could just fear expressing yourself and hide yourself away. In the 6, you can confront terrible inferiority complexes. And sometimes that inferiority complex can drop to your respiratory system and cause asthmatic symptoms and sometimes severe asthma and respiratory disorders. Because you just don't feel up to the task. You end up depending on other people too much. And then that starts to make you feel useless and depressed, and you start feeling sorry for yourself, and you start spiraling downwards. Some 6s do like to be an eternal student, but I found that not all are like that. I've put eternal student in here, but I'm starting to think that, there's quite a few 33s that I've seen that they're not necessarily the eternal student in the traditional way. It's more self-reflection, self-research and self-development rather than necessarily school stuff or things related to the system. Because remember, you're here to do something better than just conforming to the system. You're definitely an emotional sponge. Oh, good God, whatever anyone's feeling around you, you take that on and you react. People's negative emotions, very, very bad around you. You will, if somebody else is angry, you'll absorb that too, if you're not conscious of it. Explosive emotional expression. I don't want to be around a 3 or a 33, to be honest, when they kick off. You're easily moved to tears, though, and you can be very abusive, hypersensitive to criticism, a controlled. If you struggle with your emotion, you might hold it back and present a controlled persona or a mask and hide your emotional turmoil. You can be promiscuous and get too emotionally involved with people, or be sexually repressed and have feelings of total inadequacy, which also, as well as asthma, can cause terrible sensitive stomachs, especially when you're under stress. And as you can imagine, in the 6, being an idealist, you aren't always grounded in reality. If you haven't developed that ability to accept reality, you can be overly idealistic and you can lack discrimination or perspective for anything that's real, and be just totally disappointed that why the world isn't like you think it should be. You could be demanding and pessimistic because your high standards are never met. You avoid activity because you feel that you fall short. I mean, if you've got high standards for yourself and others, you're going to worry that you're not going to fit those standards, and then you end up standing stock still and doing nothing. Set yourself up and others for failure and disappointment because of your ideals. You know, sometimes things go well, but they don't go to what you expect. You know, every little detail might not go to plan, but think of that big picture. You can also, though, feel responsible for everyone else's needs and forget yourself. That's the higher vibrational nurturer within you. Remember, you've always got to think of yourself, because if you're not healthy, you can't nurture others anyway. You tend to see the world as either perfect or flawed, which can make you manic sometimes and depressed at other times. Compare and judge, acutely sensitive of judgment from others. End up quitting or not trying because, you know, there's no way I can do that. I'm never going to be good enough to do that. And also, you need to take a good look at what you really feel and not what you should feel according to your ideals, and connect with the soul within you. So you end up, when you've got these ideals and perfections, you end up imposing pressure on yourself. And as I said, asthma, respiratory distress, stomach disorders. You can appear detached or cold while you're trying to do the right thing. And sometimes what you think might be the right thing isn't necessarily the right thing. Very much meddler, unsolicited advice because you think others aren't doing it right. Perfectionist, critical, idealist to a fault. You know, there's only one way of doing it, and that's my way, and that way's perfect, basically. Self-righteous, irresponsible, indulgent, non-committal, self-absorbed at times, prone to addictions because you feel so low on yourself, you judge yourself and others so much. You have days where you're not good enough, your friends aren't good enough, the world's not good enough, woe is me. And this can be addictions to food, drugs, alcohol, anything. You could be addicted to anything in this world. Self-destructive, elevated self-righteousness, and demanding perfectionism, unyielding, controlling, and assertively judgmental to others at times. You know, just really, really criticizing others, and you can do it quite openly at times. I really hope you've liked my video today, guys. I do go on a bit, but I like to put a lot of comprehensive detail into my videos. So as I said at the beginning, I'm going to do my next series of videos as like a guidance for each life path, because I've told you all about you and what you're here to do. But what we're going to think about now is what steps you could take to develop yourself in your life path. But if there's any other topics that any one of you would like me to cover, please contact me. Put something in one of the description boxes or one of the comment boxes, at the bottom, or contact me directly through social media. So these are all my social media links that are here, but I'm going to put them in the description box too, so you can click on them. I wasn't doing that before, which was silly. And so now you'll be able to click on each of these links, whereas before you couldn't. Okay, so I think I finished gabbling now. So just before I go, make sure you're listening to the soul within you guys. Very important. I spread this message. Always follow the soul within. Love you guys. See you on my next video.